With such a fast and easy recipe, you'll bake cookies every day.
Hello and welcome to my channel, and welcome to my kitchen. If you don't already know, this is me, and today I'll show you how I make chocolate chip cookies.
And as usual, you can find a full list of ingredients in the description. We start by adding the butter, white sugar and brown sugar into a bowl. Blend them together. The butter should be quite soft but not melted, and I like to use my dough whisk. Quite possibly my favourite tool in the kitchen. Once it's all roughly combined, swap over to a wooden spoon or a spatula to continue. This is a recipe I've played around with for years. And one thing that I've found is that the temperature of the butter when you start makes a huge difference on the texture of the cookie at the end. Once your butter and sugar are fully combined, it's time to add the vanilla. I recommend using a vanilla paste. And it's better to have too much than not enough. Add your eggs one at a time, and the fresher the better. These actually came from my barn of elders this morning. Then it's time to whisk again, incorporating all of the egg into your mixture. Add your baking powder and your salt. It should start to look and feel a little bit like porridge. Next, we're going to add the flour and use a spatula to fold it all together. When it starts to hold together just a bit, turn it out onto your bench. Continue to bring it all together, but resist the urge to knead. Instead, squeeze and fold until all of the flour is combined. Kneading will cause a formation of gluten, and that will make it a tough cookie. And no one likes a tough cookie. Today we're looking for a cookie that's nice and soft and moist, but strong enough that you can dip it in your coffee. So instead, I suggest the chopping method. By chopping and folding, you're increasing the surface area for the flour to stick to. If you've made it this far, tell me in the comments what your favourite cookie is. Eventually, it should look and feel somewhat like Play-Doh. Spread it out and add your chocolate. I don't use chocolate chips, I use block chocolate that's been chopped down into smaller pieces. In this batch today, I'm using a mix of dark chocolate and white chocolate. I'm using approximately 1 whole block worth. You can use more or less, but if you're adding enough that the chocolate's falling out and it's not staying inside the cookie, you've added too much. Next, we're going to wrap it in some cling wrap and pop it in the fridge for about 20 minutes. This will give it a chance to rest and bring down the temperature so it's easier to work with. This will give you the chance to prepare your tray and to preheat the oven to 150 degrees. Add a light dusting of flour to your bench and bring out your dough. The softer butter at the beginning is to coat your flour more evenly to prevent the gluten, but the dough will be much easier to roll and cut if it's cool. You could even go as far as to rolling it into a sausage and freezing it before cutting. Next, we're going to start by making a ball with our dough and then rolling it out flat. Using our rolling pin, we're going to roll it till it's about 1 inch thick. Would you believe a friend of mine once asked me how I get my cookies so perfectly round? I use a cookie cutter, of course. This batch will make about 24 cookies. If you don't have the right size cookie cutter, you can use a glass. And if they get stuck, just dip it in some flour and go again. Once you're done, collect up the excess and squeeze it back together. Remember not to knead it. Give your cookies a little hug and then pop them on your baking tray. Make sure you leave a gap between them so they can spread in the oven. And set your timer, these will only need 10 minutes. When they're finished, they'll be golden brown and they'll be slightly larger than they were when you put them in. You can either let them cool or enjoy them straight away. Perfect pairing with my coffee.
So thanks for watching, and I hope to see you back in the kitchen with me next week.